which is 2 trillion rands of your money, come close to it because it looks like the looters are coming close to it to turn it into a war chest at the expense of you getting your pensions when you retire. Come closer to that. Kwesijabulisa uma COSATU-led sizosondela empeshenini zethu ngoba imjuluko negazi labasebenzi nezimali. Ingakho sifuna noma siphambi kwamabhenki ukuthi these banks must serve ordinary people of our country and not only serve the rich. Imali zethu, we are saying, down with high bank charges, down. Any corporates, esivumelana ngayo no COSATU. Yini uma uthenga imoto ka 200,000 uyikhokha 5 years. Kodwa uma uthenga indlu yaleyo mali 200,000 uyikhokha 20 years. Uma ulahlekelwe umsebenzi ngonyaka ka 15 ukhokha, bayayithatha indlu yakho bayidayise ngo 500 rand, bakukhiphe and you still remain with debt. If we have 2 trillion rand in the PIC, why should you not pay for the house for 5 years? Compound interest. It's up to you, my comrades. We want to say corruption and looting takes away money from social grants, from pensioners. The looting of SAA has plunged this into a crisis. The looting of ESCOM has pushed up the price of electricity. Basebenzi, yini enanisekhanda yempi esasinwa sibhekise kuhulumeni wobandlululo. Kwachitheka igazi, abanye abafowethu nodadewethu abasebenzi sihamba phezu kwabo namhlanje ngoba banqatshe 6 feet underground belwela ukukhulula lelizwe. Sizovumelana ukuthi mase selikhululile lelizwe lizothatha umndeni wokufika wamandiya okuthiwa amaGupta afuna ukuzothatha izwe lethu sihlale sithuke. Workers can't keep quiet. The SABC, my comrades, has a lot of confidence in COSATU nabasebenzi. Sicela ingagcini lento namhlanje ngale march. Comrade Peter na-NUM, go to ESCOM and do the same to ESCOM and say this coal which is cheap, useless, which you are buying from some of these companies, why are we doing that at the expense of the workers in this country? Take these buttons, comrades, to your sector. That's what we are saying. Now, Republic sector, Miss Marshall and Artisama Minister, Miss Moose would sit Israel have. Corporate hope, the leadership ANC, we want to say this is not a strike against the African National Congress. This is a strike against what is wrong in our movement, but not against our movement. And this is not a strike against the democratic government, but a strike about what is wrong in our government. Those who are stealing are telling us in their useless newspapers that this is a strike by the workers against the ANC. It's not true, but you are not going to keep quiet when the ANC is being stolen in broad daylight. The ANC does not belong to its belongs to the people of this country. It's a people's movement and we will defend it. The parasites are saying billions of rands are going to be lost because of the strike. Listen to who is talking. It's the people who are stealing billions from the state. They say if workers take action, billions are going to be lost. And comrades, let's make a vow today. Asenze isifungo siyabasebenzi balelizwe ukuthi le mali yethu entshontshiwe eyehlele eDubai siyoyilandela siyithole every cent of it.
Right, live visuals there of the General Secretary of the SACP, Dr. Blade Nzimande, addressing the crowd, saying this is a strike against what is wrong in the ANC and not a strike against the ANC itself. So live visuals there from Bank City in the Johannesburg CBD, where they will be making their way to the Chamber of Mines, and we'll bring you more tracking that march as they make their way to the Chamber of Mines. Let's take you now to our reporter, Mweli Masilela. He's in Mbombela in Mpumalanga. And Mweli, good afternoon to you. How is the march progressing there?
Good afternoon to you and the viewers. Yes, we are still continuing with the coverage of the COSATU strike. You know that early this morning, the marchers gathered at the Nelspruit Showgrounds. That's where they started and marched to the government complex here. They're hoping that they will be handing over the memorandum of grievances to the premier of the province. You know that the main issue here is the issue of corruption and state capture. Some of the leaders from the national offices of the SACP and COSATU that joined this march today is Zingi Swalosi, the second deputy president of COSATU, and also Lechisa Tenodi, who is the Central Executive Committee member of the SACP. But to tell us more about this march, I'm joined by the Secretary of the SACP in Mpumalanga, Bonagele Majuba. If you can take us through, why have you decided as the SACP to be part of this march?
The SACP is a party of workers, and we decided to join with the workers throughout the country and also here in Mpumalanga to support workers, but we are with them in condemning corruption and state capture. We believe that we are tired of corruption. The people of South Africa are losing a lot through corruption, and corruption must be defeated at all costs. And we are tired of the Guptas who are at the core of state capture. We know that there are other companies who are in this state capture, but the Guptas are the most reckless ones who also want to take charge of our state and take charge of our leaders. We believe that we're tired of that, and the Guptas must go back where they come from and leave our country alone, and we make sure that the people of South Africa enjoy their freedom as they voted for it.
As we are talking about the issue of corruption and the issue of the Guptas, do you think that this march will achieve what you want to be seen achieved?
I think the leaders in this country must be aware that the people of South Africa, and the workers in particular, are not happy about what is taking place in the country, and the reasonable leaders will have to make sure that they take proper decision. And as a result of that, this is going to assist if we've got reasonable leaders who put the interests of this country at heart.
You've been very vocal when it comes to corruption in the province. What is the picture currently? Are you happy with the way things are being done in the province?
Corruption is everywhere throughout the country, and we think that this province is not an exception to that corruption. We're saying this corruption must be eradicated from the roots all over, including here in Mpumalanga. It has degenerated this country into the whole country becoming a kleptocracy actually.
Well, one issue that has been talked about is the issue of unemployment, and we've seen quite a number of workers being retrenched here in Mpumalanga, especially in the steel sector and mining sector. What is your contribution? What do you think has to be done in that regard?
What has to be done, we have to deal with the issue of corruption so as we can have a lot of investors will come from other countries who will be aware that this is a country where they can be able to bring their investment without any threat of corruption. And the corruption should be dealt with in such a way that in government and also in companies, because not only the public sector that is corrupt, this corruption is also there in the private sector. Hence we have got retrenchments and what have you. Capitalism by its nature is inherently corrupt. As such, capitalists want to maximize profit, and they want to retrench workers so as they can have maximum profits.
Well, as we have heard, that is the Secretary of the SACP in Mpumalanga, Bonakele Majuba, giving us insight in terms of what they want to achieve in terms of this march. Well, saying that they are not happy with the issue of corruption, not only in this province, but other provinces, and the issue of the Gupta, saying that that issue must be addressed. By now, people are not happy, and governments must know about that issue. And then it's back to you in the studio.
Mweli, thank you very much. Mweli Masilela, live from Mbombela in Mpumalanga. But let's take you now to Cape Town, where there have been big crowds that have gathered and to hand over their memorandum of grievances. And we believe that it has been handed over to the Premier, Helen Zille. Our reporter, Vanessa Puna, is there. Vanessa, good afternoon. Can you confirm that for us? Has that memorandum been received?
Good afternoon to you. I can confirm that there has been no representative from the provincial legislature to receive a memorandum which COSATU and the alliance partners had wanted to hand over to the Premier, Helen Zille herself. A short while ago, Tony Ehrenreich from COSATU here in the Western Cape making a very bold statement saying that they will not hand over any memorandum to anyone lesser than the Premier herself. But at the moment we are standing in front of a national parliament. This is the third stop in this march here in Cape Town. Of course, the first stop at the offices of PRASA, where a memorandum has indeed been handed over to Richard Walker from the organisation, as well as a short while ago the march then moved from the provincial legislature to in front of Parliament. And of course, the message today is an unequivocal no to corruption. It is a definite no to state capture. But joining me to talk a bit about the message and just to summarise the extent to which this march has proceeded here in Cape Town today, Tony Ehrenreich. Good afternoon to you, Tony. Your message has been clear from the start that this march, this show of force by workers here, is an absolute no to what has been happening in state-owned enterprises, also what's happening in our country, and you're saying that corruption has to be rooted out at its very core.
Workers have come out in their thousands and lost a day's pay to say we're tired of the corruption and the looting of state assets, and we're tired of state capture. We know that it's not only Zuma that's captured, Zille's captured herself. Zille and Zuma both went to see the Guptas. They both got money from the Guptas. We know that Zuma uses state funds to promote his children. Zille also used state funds to promote her child. That's why she didn't come out to face the state capture allegations, because she's as guilty. But we want all those corrupt leaders gone, including somebody like Beleka, the Speaker of Parliament, who got 25 million rand from Goldfields. That's not money for nothing. That's to defend the interest of the wealthy in Parliament. So they, in a more sophisticated way, is capturing our Parliament. We want all of those thieves gone. And today is about the post-1994 thieves. But there's been thieves who stole our country's wealth before 1994, and we're coming for them also.
Tony, today's march drawing some criticism from quarters, saying that this indeed is not about the workers. It's not so much about state capture as it is a show of politics. It's some quarters describing this as politicking. What do you say to that?
Well, people will always have their own impressions. Workers are here to say an end to corruption. Workers are also saying the government's corrupt, so we want a change in leadership. And the workers have said very clearly they want Cyril Ramaphosa as the next president of the ANC and the next president of the country, because there's many in the ANC who are as corrupt as Zuma, and we're going to get rid of them also, if not now, then in December at the ANC conference. We want to clear up our organisation to implement the Freedom Charter that focuses on the needs of poor people first.
Tony, once the memorandum is handed over here to a representative of Parliament, what is the next step or the next phase of COSATU's demonstrations against state capture?
Government will have 14 days if they don't respond in the affirmative to the legitimate demands from workers, including ending the looting of the pension funds and labour broking and outsourcing. Then there's going to be real trouble in this country, because our people are dying on the trains. The system is not working for poor people, and the elites, both those from before apartheid and those after apartheid, are becoming fat cats. We can't allow that to continue. The sacred promise to our people was to build a country that's more fair, that's more equal, and that's more just. And these crooks in Parliament now has not achieved that.
Thank you very much, Tony. Tony Ehrenreich just summarising there for us, of course, what this National Strike Day is all about, talking about the government, which a short while ago I heard Jeremy Cronin saying on the truck behind me that South Africa is like a fish which rots from the head, saying that corruption has indeed infiltrated all, or most, if not all, of state-owned entities, as well as even in the private sector, saying that government has responsibility to ensure that what was promised to the people in the run-up to 1994 and beyond is actually delivered. So outside here at Parliament at the moment, quite a heavy police contingent guarding the gates of Parliament. Also behind me, workers coming out, affiliates of COSATU, SATU, the SACP, etc., all saying that they are calling on government to pay heed to today's action, saying that workers have had enough, that the issue of corruption need to be dealt with, but not just at national level, filtering down to every single segment of government as well as in the private sector as well. So the memorandum due to be handed over, we expect that in the next few minutes outside the gates of Parliament.
Vanessa, thank you very much for that. Vanessa Puna live from Cape Town. All right, let's take you now to Durban. And as we know, COSATU President Sudumu Dlamini is leading the Alliance's national strike and march in Durban. And let's give you a sense of what exactly is taking place there. Our reporter Ayanda Mhlongo is standing by with more. Ayanda, big crowds out there today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Natasha. Yes, absolutely. Quite a turnout of members of COSATU. I'm just going to step quickly out of shot so that you can see in front is the leadership of COSATU, the SACP, led by COSATU President Sudumu Dlamini. We are almost now at the finish, which is outside the Durban City Hall. In fact, we're at the last intersection before approaching the steps of the City Hall, where COSATU leadership will then address the thousands of members who have come out here today, who have come out to say that they're taking a stand. They're fighting against corruption. They're fighting against state capture. They're fighting against the looting of state resources. They're also saying that they're out here for workers, to fight for workers, for basic conditions, better working conditions of the workers, fighting against labor brokers. They've also today asked that young people come out in their numbers to support today's mass action because of the problems that are faced by young people, and particularly when it comes to education. They're saying that a lot of the looting is affecting monies that government could be putting towards free education for the youth. They're also saying that due to the unemployment crisis or the rate in South Africa, young people are entering into universities, but they're unable to find jobs. So this is what the thousands of COSATU members as well as SACP members who are out here today are saying, that they're out here as a show of force to show the government and to say to the public sector that enough is enough. Natasha, they're also then, as I said, we're approaching the steps of City Hall. They'll be then handing over a memorandum to a representative from the Premier's office here in KZN, as well as the Department of Labour and the Durban Chamber of Commerce. Natasha.
Ayanda, thank you very much for that update. For now, we'll leave it there. Ayanda Mhlongo live from Durban.